What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Wolf Crier here, and welcome to another episode of AARPG Vodcast, where we're going to be talking about gaming. And today's topics, we're going to be talking about early access games, whether that's worth it, what games have done that right, what games have pretty much failed at that. And I also want to touch base on stuff like season passes within games and whether that's a model that can move forward in other types of games such as action role-playing games and the like. All right, this week we've got another guest with us, and he's going to be a regular, and this is my twin brother Voldimitsu, and he also streams occasionally on Twitch, sometimes under Spastic 1973. It's been a while, but Voldy, why don't you tell people about yourself?
All right, I'm Wolf Crier's better looking brother. Been into gaming as long as he has. We grew up on the old Atari and the Tandy 1000 we shared together. He played video games. I tried making my own video games back then. But overall, I love all types of games. I'm not a fan of one genre over the other, except I do prefer ARPGs. And I am in love with Heroes of the Storm, although it does not love me back.
Well, welcome. Good to have you. And like I said, Voldimitsu is going to be a regular along with Draves and Atrick and myself. And every now and then, I'm sure members will rotate in and out. But let's dive into today's topic. What do you guys think about early access games as a whole? Stuff like Kickstarter games, early access games on Steam, and stuff like that. Let's start with Atrick today.
So as a whole, early access, I believe if you are getting, a discount early access price, it's a good thing because then you get a chance to get in, see what the game is shaping up to be, put some input into the developers, see whether or not they're actually going to respond to the community input, which is going to be an important thing to know moving forward. And if it turns out to be a game that, you're not interested in when it goes forward and goes live because the way things develop, then you're not out of, a full price of a game. You got it to get in and hope for something that you really wanted ahead of time at a discounted price. But early access at full price, that's something I would say no, that's not really a good thing because then it feels to me like at that point you're just trying to make money off of the community as opposed to actually trying to get the community to help develop the game. So I would say low cost early access is a good thing in general, just because if nothing else, you get to see whether or not the developer is going to pay attention to community feedback.
Now, Draves, what games do you think pulled off early access decently, in your opinion, as of late?
I haven't played any games that were in early access that were playable, really. I know Last Epoch is okay to play early access. Wolcen was kind of below average. Although when I buy an early access game, I try not to play it. I purely just buy them just to get them for cheap.
Yeah.
And then I'll wait until they're released to play it. When I bought Wolcen, I didn't play it. I waited until release. I probably could have played it in early access and saved myself a bunch of time. Because it was terrible. I didn't. No, I haven't really played anything in early access, so I can't really comment on that. I just like I said, I just buy them purely in early access to get the reduced price, and then wait until they're released. which is what I did with Wolcen. And
Pretty good idea.
I probably should have done it with Last Epoch because that was pretty cheap about a year ago, but that's back up to what, $40 now?
I'll have to double check and get back to you on that, but
Yeah, I remember getting that one for I think $9.99 or something.
I personally backed them on Kickstarter, so I got it for that. I forgot what I gave. I think it was like $75 overall. Last Epoch's one that I'm looking forward to, and I'm hoping it actually breaks the cycle that we're currently in with early access action role-playing games. I'd have to say that lately I've been pretty disappointed in them. I've been disappointed in the action role-playing genre as a whole, outside of Diablo 3 and Path of Exile. Those are games that I've sunk tons of time into. Grim Dawn's pretty good. I like Grim Dawn as well. I've sunk a few hours in that as well, and I know that I've gotten my money's worth when it comes to Grim Dawn. But the rest of them have been struggling, to say the least. Before I continue on and talk about Wolcen in general and stuff like that, why don't we check with Voldy Mitsu and see what he thinks about the whole early access and how games can do it right and stuff like that.
There's been quite a lot of, or at least a few, very successful early access games. Fortnite being probably one of the biggest early access. DayZ, although DayZ was in early access for like 6 years before it was ever actually released. And stuff like that does kind of irritate me if people sit on a game in quote unquote early access and or beta and take forever to release a game that should have been released, and they like draw money from their supporters to a degree that I don't know. I know a lot of people like DayZ. I didn't like that whole idea of an early access / beta game being in that position for as long as DayZ was. But as far as I know, Minecraft was also a very successful early access game. PUBG also was another one that was on Steam's early access stuff. Overall, I don't mind it. Wolcen, I didn't get into it until Wolcen was released anyways, and a lot of times I don't get into early access games and play them myself. I'm not sure if Grim Dawn was actually ever in like an early access stage. I'm not sure on that one game, but I do like it as far as an ARPG goes. But overall, I'm not it's touch and go on whether early access is good or bad. In some cases, I think it can be very good to help grow a community for a game. And other ones, if the game stays early access for too long while still sucking money from people, it's still, to me, it's a little, I don't know, little deceiving at that point. Like, just release a game. I don't know. That's my take on the early access for the most part. If any of that makes sense. If it doesn't.
It does. It definitely does. I'd say that early access can be done right if used for the right purposes, which is growing that community, like you said, and pretty much feeding info back to the game so that they can develop the game and move forward to it with it. That is, I think Last Epoch is the best one as of late that has really taken feedback from the community and changed things. Not only that, but they're one that progressively releases new content with the game as it moves forward through early access. So you're always getting new stuff. I think that other games have failed miserably when it comes to it. And I think Wolcen was one that I understand what they tried to do, but they didn't use the early access to its full benefit. And that was another one that stretched out for 6 or 7 years in early access. And instead of having their early access purchasers play and beta test the game prior to its full launch with everything in it. They tried to just do a small chunk and save everything as a surprise to the people who are going to be playing it, instead of allowing those people to, I don't know, test the systems that were completely unplayable when it launched. I mean, I think that would have been the better situation for Wolcen, instead of sitting on the game for 6 years, doing little play tests here and there, doing technical play tests, but not actually testing out the entire game, not having a bunch of people that can actually stress test that game and do stuff, like I was saying last week, that people don't normally do. And I think it would have caught a lot of the issues. And I think Wolcen would have been more successful had they done that. Wolcen right now is silent. You don't hear anything about Wolcen right now. They've been silent on Twitter since, I believe it's July. And there's their
August 27th.
forums, their forums as well. August 27th, they've been silent. So did they just take the money, cut and run? I mean, that's the feeling I get. Maybe not. Maybe they're going to push with that patch that they've been teasing about since July and August. But I don't know. I don't think that they utilized it correctly whatsoever. And lately, it seems that action role-playing games, with the exception of Last Epoch for now, have used early access and then come out of early access and failed. I think that Warhammer Chaosbane needed an early access just so that they can gain some feedback on the game, because that was released as a $60 game that had $10 worth of content, and then they released the Tomb Kings with the season pass, which we'll get on to when we talk about the season pass thing a little bit later. I want to touch base with that, because that's another whole animal altogether with Warhammer Chaosbane. Pagan Online failed miserably. They were another early access title that was decent looking. It had great graphics. Its combat was wonky as all hell, and I couldn't personally get into it. But that was another one that the online servers are shut down now. You can only play that game offline because it failed. And ARPGs in general seem to be going that route, even the ones with or without early access. And I wish that people would use the early access and the Kickstarter for what it's meant to be.
Yeah, like beta testing, working out all the kinks in the game, etc. That sort of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and Wolcen was an interesting example of early access, because I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed the game at release. It was buggy as all get out, but
Insanely buggy, but
I mean, some of the bugs you just had to laugh at when they happened. But I mean, the second act I thought was pretty top notch. The whole Lambback thing was funny enough and goofy enough, or quirky enough to be enjoyable. But I actually preferred the original plan for Wolcen, and like the original early access, where different classes actually were different in different ways. There were environmental things where, if you did a lightning attack in water, it did extra damage or had extra spread and everything. Fire attacks in different areas did different effects. And they were working towards the apocalyptic forms and everything else. Like, I felt like that was the game that I was really looking forward to. So when they scrapped that and went to the new game, I started to really question what Wolcen was going to be. But I did go ahead and give it a chance when it launched, and I had fun with it. It was an enjoyable game. It's just, it launched so buggy because they didn't use early access to test everything they needed to test. And they spent the next, 5 months just trying to bug fix everything. and it killed a large portion of the community. The community that they have right now is just really minor groups of people. I mean, it's constantly LFG if you go into their Discord and their forums. People just trying to find groups because there aren't really enough people playing the game right now. But I mean, it is fun for a little while until the bugs really started to irritate you. I would like to see them to go ahead and drop whatever the expansion is that they haven't talked about for a few months. The only thing I see on their Discord and in the forums or even their Twitter, though, is coming from the few fans, and it's usually like the same ones you see posting over and over about, hey, this thing is coming, everybody, stay ready, it's going to be kind of cool. But I think they missed an opportunity with their early access where they really could have cashed in and cut out a lot of the negative impact of their launch.
Yeah, I think why the main reason why I didn't really enjoy Wolcen was I didn't have the hardware to run it reasonably. It was very sluggish and it just didn't flow. It wasn't as responsive. Like if you're used to Diablo 3, it just flows. The combat, moving from A to B, it was like a chore to play the game on my system. But I have a new system now, so it runs great on it. But so I think it was a bit unfair saying it was a horrible game. It was only horrible because I couldn't run it properly. In regards to the patch that's coming out, it's called Chronicle 1, I think. And judging by the hearsay in the Discord channel, it's supposed to be out sometime in December, early January. So we'll see if that appears.
I'm hoping it does, because I like Atric, kind of enjoyed the launch. I did. It was buggy. There were some bugs that never happened to me, which I'm thankful for. There are certain bugs that happened to Voldy Mitsu here. He can explain that. But it was crazy. But a lot of the bugs never happened to me. I don't know why. And I had fun with it. It just... I thought the campaign was very well done. I enjoyed the story. It wasn't Blizzard graphics, but it was good for an indie company. I thought it was very well done. I thought the boss fights and the mechanics were pretty decent. It just when you got to the end game, you just hit a wall, and there were only 2 or 3 builds that could go past that wall with any type of efficiency. And I think that's where it lacked in its end game content to a bit. It had a great concept with the whole, workshop and all the stuff that you were doing in your town and running your town and running those missions and all of that. So it had some great ideas, some solid ideas, just a failed execution. And I think it could have been better with more play testing and more eyes on the game to say, hey, this isn't working. You should probably fix it before launch. What were some of the bugs that you were running into, Voldy?
Mine was the biggest one was the Demon of Souls. And whenever he did a certain particular move, which I believe was like him shooting it like a blast across the screen, every single one of them would lock up my machine. And what really bugged me is nobody that I played with ran into the same problem. So I'm like, it's not just me. It's not just me. But then they did actually bring it up in a patch like 2 weeks later that they were fixing it. And I was like, see, it's not just me. But overall, I enjoyed Wolcen. I thought it was a beautiful game. I thought it was very pretty for a small company to come in and like try their best at an ARPG. And again, that is probably all of our favorite, if we had to pick a favorite type of game, or at least most of us. Not that I want to speak for everybody else, but I thought it was very good. It was well executed. Story was great. I didn't like what was the thing called when you turn into the angel or the demon thing?
Apocalyptic form.
Yeah, to me that was kind of silly because you were invincible and nothing could be done. and you had very limited powers during that time. I thought it was kind of silly, to be honest. It didn't need it, or it needed some adjustment to make it, because as soon as you hit that form, it didn't matter what you did, you weren't going to die. Usually, I mean, I don't remember ever dying once I hit apocalyptic form.
No. I just thought initially that it was supposed to be something else, that apocalyptic form was supposed to go with your class and you were able to spec into it and it would change how your class was. And I think that was the original idea. And it got scrapped to give you 4 different god modes is pretty much what it got turned into.
Yeah, that was my same opinion. Looking at the very early concepts and the very early videos that they released of it, it was just these like small things that you could spec into to add to your character. Like, it could have an extra arm or something like that would do stuff for you. But yeah, so it got changed to turning into, I guess, those like weird avatar things where you can't die and you just kill everything. But yeah, I was really interested in that early concept for apocalyptic form.
You're muted, bro.
I did enjoy the game. I thought it was really good. I thought the skills were interesting, although at the end it all came down to what bleeding edge has been. If you're not running it, you're gonna get yourself. Yeah. But I did like the concept. I enjoyed their tree. It was reminiscent of PoE's tree, but a little less confusing than PoE's tree. But theory crafting builds was, because early on, half the nodes in that tree didn't even actually do anything. They were like placeholder points that you were putting into, and I don't know. I feel bad because I think it was a great attempt at an ARPG. It's still probably up there as like one of the better ones that was released in the past few years. And I do hope that they come out with Chronicle or Chronicle 1, whatever it is, and I hope they introduce seasons, and I hope it's just the current situation of all of our lives that's slowing down production of that.
Yeah.
I hope it is, but the fact that they're not communicating with their fans or their community is a little disheartening for any company. Like when you go onto the forums of a game company and you haven't seen any moderators post since August or July, that's a little off-putting for fans of the game.
And I liked it. I got to say, I definitely got my money's worth. But I bought it in early access and paid $19 for it. So I fully got my money's worth. I got like 3 or 4 weeks of solid play out of it. I was able to progress through, some of the end game, and I really enjoyed the campaign. I liked what I played, but I just wish it had more. I wish it was worth it, in my opinion. If you're that type of a gamer, I think it was definitely worth it. I still think I would have gotten my money worth if I had paid full price. Personally,
I did pay full price, or someone paid full price for me. I got it, but it was worth it to me. I did enjoy the story. Like Atrix said, I thought the story was well done. There was some really cool and interesting part. There were some bugs in the story as well but like, it was my first time fighting the end boss. The end boss jumped, and when he jumped, he disappeared from the entire game. You never beat him. You literally had to exit and like restart that whole bit, which was quite a story just to get to that fight that you had to re-go through. But
wasn't there a big bug that involved upgrading a certain part of your city that would delete all your gear or something?
Oh yeah, there were a few of those.
There were a couple.
Few bugs where people were logging back in afterwards and being like, "Everything's gone. Everything's gone."
Duplicate certain things too.
Oh, there was duping all over the place. There were leveling up skills by duping certain gems, and there was a whole bunch of stuff going on. The economy was gone within 24 hours of the game launching.
We knew a guy that had a lot of gold, didn't we, Adric?
Yes, we did, didn't we?
We did. We knew a guy who did that.
We happen to know a guy that unlocked everything in that little town. Hey, I had to test it.
Yeah,
That's what early access is for.
that's right.
Get that stuff taken care of ahead of time.
But that's a problem when, like, for me, it's not even early access. It's release a beta.
Yeah.
Release a beta of a version, get a solid group of people in
to play test.
Like Diablo, even for the seasons, there's a beta test.
There's a PTR, yeah.
They could have done more testing other than just the early access people.
I agree there.
Yeah, but overall, I still say, like, Wolcen was worth what I paid for it. I think in general it was worth the price. It was just so it ran into that overhype issue because it's been the only thing in the genre in forever, and people were finally excited about getting something new to play around with for a little while, and then it launched with so many problems.
It did.
That's what hurt it.
They pissed off way too many people at the same time, and then its reviews got tanked. And I've played a lot of, ARPGs that have come out lately, like Pagan Online, like I said, Last Epoch, Wolcen. I didn't get to play Torchlight 3, but I did get to play Warhammer Chaosbane, and I gotta say, out of all of them that have released, Last Epoch notwithstanding, because it isn't out yet, Wolcen was the best of all of them. I'm going to say that.
I'm still holding out that they pull off what No Man's Sky did and just keep plugging away at getting it where they want it.
That's what I'm hoping to. I did not like Pagan Online at all. Like, I played it. I tried so hard to like it. And with that one, it had the content, but it was boring. Where Warhammer Chaosbane was boring because it had no content. And, other YouTubers were trying to sell it, and some still do try to sell this game as something that's good, but Warhammer Chaosbane was just not worth the price tag. It's not worth the price tag now, and it was just horrible. And their season pass, which we'll jump into that right now, their season pass was not worth it. I paid an extra $10, so I got $60 I paid for this game, and it was literally 4 maps. It was 4 maps repeated over and over and over again. Maybe 5. I'll give it that it had 5 because I had one map that was slightly different. But it was 5 maps. And even going through the acts, it was like, really? This is Act 2, and I'm in the same place I was 8 quests ago. I'm in the same exact map for the most part. It's just the entrance is somewhere else. The entrance and exit is somewhere else. Like, I don't understand. And then you give a season pass that offers pretty much the Tomb Kings expansion, and that's it. Like, I tried figuring out if the new Witch Hunter was part of the season pass, and it's not. So it's $10 more now for me to purchase the Witch Hunter. Where I think the original game, if I had bought it, I think it would have been like $49 instead of $69 or whatever. And I could have bought the Tomb Kings for $10. So I would have saved money by not getting the Magus edition that I got and just buying the game and then the expansion that came with it. I would have saved money. Now, I'd have to spend $10 more to test one more class, and it's still the same game. Yes, there are new maps coming, which is great, or in the game or coming to the game. That's great because it needed it. But it's still a $20 game packaged as a $50 game, and it just seems that they used the Warhammer name to suck people dry of money. It just there needed more innovation in the game. There needed to be more imagination in the game for the most part. And I think their season pass was absolute trash. And I don't know if the season pass is a thing that we can use in action role-playing games. I'd like to see a company actually pull that off where a season pass is worth it. Voldy's saying no. But I think season passes work for certain games. And I think that the seasons and season passes could work for the action role-playing genre, but it would have to be very well executed. What's your thoughts on that, Voldy? You're muted.
No, I know it is muted.
All right.
Because you guys seem to be coming through on my end. Because I see me lighting up every time you guys start talking, so I don't want to have you guys through twice. Anyways, early access. My take on it. If it's free to play game, I'm not early access. Season pass. Sorry. If it's a free to play game, I'm okay with it. I'm not okay with, especially with games. EA does a lot of it. If I bought the game, I don't want you to hide content that you made for the game behind another paywall. When I've already put money. If it's a $60 game, I do not believe in season passes. I don't like the idea of season passes for Modern Warfare. We'll go with. I'm okay with it for Apex because when your model is built around, you make money via your microtransactions versus selling the actual full game. I think it's different. I think if I buy a game and EA does it a lot where the content's already in the game, they're just tacking on another fee for you to access the content that's already in the game. I don't know. That's just my take on season passes. I do like it for games like Apex, games like Dauntless. I'm not sure how it would fit with ARPGs. I get that you could have special things that you're going to unlock during a season, like a Diablo season. Oh, well, maybe you can, if you're logging in all the time and you're like the daily rewards, because that's the stuff you're talking about, like Dauntless has Apex, right?
Roughly, yeah, like daily quests or rewards that, not only progress your ability to get like cosmetic items and stuff like that, but maybe something like how Fortnite does seasons or something like that. I'm not a big fan of Fortnite. I've been playing a lot because of my kids.
Fortnite's a free-to-play game.
Fortnite is a free-to-play game, so I guess...
So that falls under my whole... Depends on whether the game was built with that model or the game is built and then you charge $60 and then you're trying to figure out, well, how can we squeeze another $10 a month out of our fan base? And there's a lot of games nowadays, especially the PlayStation, that do it. You got Assassin's Creed games actually do season passes and stuff like that. You got, which I don't think the current one does, but I know that the last one does. Am I wrong there? Odyssey had a season pass.
Odyssey had a season pass, but it was a different type of season pass model. That gets into so there's two different types of season passes you see in a game. You have like your Apex Call of Duty type season pass where they have their seasons going on that are kind of like their little campaigns with themes or whatever. And as you're playing through, if you buy the season pass, you get different cosmetics, you unlock things faster. Magic the Gathering Arena has something similar, where as you're playing the game, you're progressing through their mastery pass, or their mastery stuff. And if you buy the mastery pass, you progress faster and get a few extra things along the way. But then there's also like the Assassin's Creed Odyssey season pass. What that was, it was basically you paid us this much now, and the first 3 DLC, I think it was, that they come out with that first year, you get it for free because you bought the season pass.
Yeah, see, that to
Yeah.
me is a little different because you are getting content that you would have to pay for down the road, like an
Yeah.
expansion DLCs. Like that is a little different thing.
Yeah, Borderlands had that model.
Did they?
Yeah, Borderlands 2. When I bought the season pass on Steam. I think for $29.99. I think I got like 4 or 5 expansions for free with it.
Oh wow.
Oh, see, that to me does make sense because that you're to me it's more like you're putting a down payment on the future of the game kind of deal. So in a way that helps with the production costs of what they are going to make, etc. So that I could see. It's just when games like, I don't know, we'll go Star Wars Battlefront, shit like that, when you're putting hiding shit that was built into the game when you made it, and you hide it behind a paywall. That stuff,
Yeah.
especially for a $60 game.
I'll agree there. Like if a game's launching at, full price tag, tacking on something in the manner that you're talking about where, you're just paying more for something we already made when we launched the game and it's in there, you just can't have it till you give us $10 more. That I agree with. I'm merely talking more of a cosmetic type of thing where you can earn more cosmetics, or where it's not necessary for any main portion of the game. I don't think that any of the game's actual playable content should be locked behind any season pass whatsoever. I think that unless it's in the situation where, like Odyssey, you're getting extra DLC for cheaper than you would when it launches. That's different. But yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree that a full price game, you shouldn't be charging for access to something that's already in the game. With the exception of, special cosmetics that you could earn through questing or something like that. I'm okay with that type of stuff. But yeah, it would have to be very well done in order to work. I think that the season pass with Chaosbane was a joke. It was literally a joke. You paid more than what you got. And then it just, we're done with the season pass. Here's more stuff that you have to pay for. And I think it was just a money grab. And you're right. That stuff was, you did get an expansion with it, but the expansion was so small and equally unfun that you were still paying extra money for a game that was not worth its original price tag. So I'd have to say that it would have to be well done. I'm okay with season passes for free games. Like you said, I do purchase the season pass for Apex almost every season. I haven't this season so far. I'm not sure if I'm going to get into it. I love Apex Legends, and it is a free game. And I don't mind supporting it. And you get a lot of free cosmetics with the season pass if you're playing a lot. Same with Fortnite. I bought the season pass for both myself and my son since I do play a lot with him. And it's cool that I can go, hey, look at what skin I got with my 9-year-old son, and we can play the game together and have fun. But, that's only $10 each for a free game. And I don't have to spend any more money. I don't even have to spend that $10 if I don't want to. But I don't mind supporting it in that way. But I'd have to agree with you. I mean, once they start tacking on extra fees just to access the game, then that's definitely not something I would ever want to see within ARPGs.
And then you have some companies that are free to play. Like Marvel Heroes was a great example. You could buy your characters outright for cash if you wanted, or you could just grind Eternity Splinters in the game and unlock every character for free without spending a penny.
Right. It was a grind. But that model comes, in my opinion, it comes from mobile games. It comes from League of Legends. It comes from Heroes of the Storm. It comes from those types of games, that business model. And I think it's so sad because I missed that game.
That was my first experience of that particular
I
type
missed
of
it so much.
business model.
I
I put a
really
lot of money
enjoyed-
into that game.
Same
I
here.
put about $200 into that game.
Yeah, I
Me
gotta say,
too.
I dumped at least 100 into that game.
I won't
had
say I
fun with it.
wasted money. I spent
Yeah.
money on
Yeah,
my
I
enjoyment of the
I
game.
can no longer access anything that I bought, but I
I definitely liked the game. That's for sure. That type of business model I liked too because it was a free to play game. I don't think D4 or anything like that's going to be free to play. That's going to be a premium title. My worry with that is that they're going to go the Battlefront route. I hope not. And I'd like to believe not because it's Blizzard and not Activision, but it's still Activision.
Yeah,
You
see,
know what I mean?
my concern with like Diablo 4 is it's going to be a full price game, absolutely, because I mean it's a Diablo title. But my concern is that it's going to be geared up with a microtransaction store. That would be my biggest concern. I actually think a season pass type model could work in an ARPG like Diablo 4 if they have seasons. Like, let's say, I'll compare it to like PoE. So PoE has the microtransaction store, but with every new league they have, they also have the supporter packs you can get for additional cosmetics and things along those lines.
Plus
A model that
a game for free.
Yeah, they are a game for free. But a model that they could do instead of that might get them more people purchasing it, their supporter packs, is if they did it as a lower cost season pass, where as they're progressing, doing things in the game, they're gaining experience towards that season pass, which will also help keep the player base that cuts out after the first week or two, maybe playing even longer, to crunch out everything that's in that season pass instead of dump $60 right here, bam, I get all these cosmetics. I play for 1 week, maybe 2, and then I'm out. Maybe do like a $10, $20 season pass each time. You'll see more people buy it. And if it's something that they have to work towards by playing the game and gaining experience in the game to get those cosmetics all the way through that list, then you also see your player base stick with the season even longer, which does not hurt at all. That does nothing but help the game. So something along that line, as opposed to just a pure microtransaction shop or mystery boxes, I think would be something that could benefit an ARPG.
Voldy, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Marvel Heroes have a thing where you could like pick a card and get like 20% off or 40% off certain microtransactions?
Yeah, they had your daily rewards, and every now and then you get a reward that was it was a coupon for a percentage off of putting money into the game, so you could get like more of their whatever the currency was called. I can't remember at this point in time, but yeah, so you could get a discounted. Oh, here's $10 worth of.
That's right.
$5.
I remember people were posting they got coupons for 90% off.
Yeah, I think one of us got one for a decent amount off, I believe, too.
Yeah. But that'd be pretty good. I mean, if you could do something. I know, right? I could have used the 90% off coupon on that game. Yeah, I mean, if PoE did something similar, where I don't expect 90% off something, but like even 10 or 15% off, instead of paying $5 for 100 coins, or 50 coins for $5?
I think it's 50.
PoE.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's 10 for 100.
Yeah.
Even if you got 10% off or 15% off, it would incentivize people to throw a bit of money at the game.
Right. Like I like Does ESO? Sorry, bro.
Nope. Keep going.
Does ESO do this, Atric? They have daily rewards, correct?
Oh God, yes.
Just like Dauntless, just like a few other. Matter of fact, Marvel Heroes had a daily reward system.
And you do not have to be an ESO Plus member to gain access to the daily rewards. You can be playing without the ESO Plus membership.
Yeah, see, I'd like to see something like that. That would not be cool, especially if you did offer like how Dauntless does it. Dauntless has a season pass just like Apex and everything, but there's two season passes. There's the I paid for the season pass, and then there's the everybody gets it season pass. So
Yeah.
every day there's a new reward, even if you didn't put money in, you get a little something. It's not just, hey, if you give us more money, you get stuff and nobody else gets it. Like,
But I think those are all fine and good for free to play games. That's 100%. But where do you draw the line with a full priced game?
agreed.
When it comes to that, I think in order for that type of stuff to happen in a full price game, even microtransactions for skins and stuff, there are things that I'd buy for Diablo 3, or at least, at one point definitely would have, and probably still would now. But where do you draw that line? Because I paid $130 total, 60 for the game, 60 for Reaper of Souls, and then $10 or $15 for the Necromancer. I mean, where do you draw the line on adding paid cosmetics as well? Because let's face it, that's a lot of money to spend on a game, and now you're asking for that community to give you even more. If I thought that a season pass would also include whatever the next expansion type pack at the end or something like that, or towards the end, or somewhere in the middle where it was attainable by everybody, then yes, I would support that. But I mean, if you're just tacking on little stuff and not giving anything major for it, that's a little tough. I don't know where I stand anymore. Just because that would be, it would be hard to justify. And then if you're hiding content behind the season pass, you're just pretty much just charging more for the game.
Yeah, and that's the big thing that I think absolutely really can't be done is hiding content behind the season pass. Because I know that was something that ESO took some heat for, was the Imperial race and everything being behind a paywall of buying the Imperial edition when it first came out. So it's still semi behind a paywall, but they made it so you don't have to buy the Imperial edition. You can like upgrade to it in the game through their crown store, and you can buy you can trade crowns with other players, kind of. So you can get it for in-game gold if you raise the money for it now. Basically everything in Elder Scrolls Online you can get for in-game gold, even the DLC at this point. It takes a healthy chunk, but gold in that game's really not hard to come by. That's kind of what I'm working on right now, is running through an account that does not have ESO Plus, just to kind of demonstrate how to get everything the game has without paying the extra $10 a month or whatever it is that people pay for that.
Well, that's good though. So that's a system that works.
Exactly. It's a system that works, and I think it's something that can be added, something similar to an ARPG, because there's still those daily login rewards, which several of those are actually just flat gold amounts, which are going to help the people who are trying to buy the content through the Crown Store. The only real thing that's a benefit to the ESO Plus members is, while you are a Plus member, you have all the DLC for free. But since you can get all the DLC through the Crown Store, eventually you can just purchase it so that you don't have to have it. The real thing is, honestly just the craft bag to hold all your crafting items so that they don't take up inventory space. Something like that, where there's some small like quality of life thing that's added for a season pass. Other than that, it's just maybe cosmetic things. You work towards them faster than the general community works towards it, but they still get access to it if they put in the time. It could be something that could help people who are more casual players that are just, they still want all this stuff. They don't have the time, but they feel like I'll put $10 into it over this 3-month period to help me get everything that I want, something like that. And then also pick up some neat little quality of life. And then you have the people that play more hardcore in it that might just do it, honestly, just to get the quality of life upgrade. Something along those lines, but where there's not any real content hidden behind it. I'd rather see something along those lines than just a pure microtransaction cash shop, because that just feels more to me like you're not incentivizing people to play the game. You're incentivizing people to just throw money at you. I'd rather have something there where they, even if they're buying a season pass to get the rewards, they have to interact with the game somehow. Maybe they just get through it faster and get to the goals faster than people playing through the regular seasons.
That's true. I mean, if they do something like a season pass or microtransactions, I would lean more towards season pass just because you'd have more people playing the game. I think you're right. Microtransactions don't guarantee that those people or those whales are going to actually play the game. Especially if it's, a season they don't like, but maybe with a season pass, they're like, oh, but I like this, the way this mount looks, and I can achieve it faster if I get the season pass, or if I'm going to be grinding out really hard, I can, skip the season pass and I can still get it. That would be pretty decent, like you're saying. So maybe a little boost to be able to reach stuff a little faster, but cosmetic only. It cannot be game changing. It cannot be game content, and it cannot be something that's pay to win ever for me to support that type of situation.
Yeah, and I think you brought up a good point there. Like, in a microtransaction cash shop, your whales in a season that they don't like are just going to go and buy the things they want and then be done with it. Well, I mean, in the ARPGs we play, the beginning week of the season is fine tuning things and balancing and getting it to where it's at a good place. So if they jump in, play for the first weekend, it's like, okay, this is crap, I'm done with it, I'm just going to buy my stuff and be out. It really doesn't help the game over that particular season or league, because then you're getting people on the forums that are bashing the league and making it look bad and causing people who haven't started on day one to get a bad image of what it is. And so having it behind that, you need to play a little while to get everything, will get those people to stick with it a little bit longer, at least long enough for those kinks to get worked out that are always there opening weekend. And then they might realize, okay, it's not as bad as I thought it was. Things have been fixed that I had an issue with. And then you keep them there longer and you can cut back on some of the, negative comments that you get on forums doing it that way.
You got anything on this, Traves?
Traves is in a dark void.
Couldn't find my own mute button. So I put my glasses on and then I couldn't see it. No, I mean, I'm pretty happy with the way things are now in most of the games that I play. The ones that I do buy the season passes for, I make sure that it's worth it. The last season pass I bought was for BattleTech, and I got it on sale. It was for $9.99, and I got 3 expansions. So, and I had to shop around for it. Green Man Gaming is where I got it. I sent you a Steam key. That's where I buy a lot of my stuff. You got good deals there. But yeah.
This is not sponsored, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
Although,
Brought to
you
you
wanna
by
reach out.
Purell.
And
And Budweiser.
and as always, coffee. Anybody else have anything else to add to the discussion?
No, it's just like, is anybody looking forward to anything?
All right. First up, what are we playing right now? Let's start with Adric.
Well, I mean, the big thing right now is I'm running through Elder Scrolls Online to demonstrate being able to play all the content, unlock everything without paying the ESO Plus fee. I'm actually finding out it's even easier than I thought it was. I'm almost at a point now where I can purchase a DLC every month
Nice.
through gold. Yeah, I'm almost at that point. I just have to level up one more character to level 50. And then just through spending 10 minutes a day doing their daily crafting writs on those 5 characters that I'd have every single day would give me enough gold every month to purchase the crowns for a DLC every single month. So it won't take long to get to the point that I can just start purchasing player housing and stuff with in-game gold. It is a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. That's what I'm doing right now. Other than that, looking forward to the weekend, Season 22, Diablo 3, ready for that to start and do the level with a cause again this weekend. I've been messing around in early access Baldur's Gate 3, but I'm not really sure that I'm liking where that's going. Still going to hold out and see what comes on it. But as of right now, I know it's early access, so there's a lot that's going to change. So I'm just got my fingers crossed and kind of holding back on that one for a minute. Looking forward to Ashes of Creation Alpha whenever that happens.
Knock on wood. Draves, what are you playing and what are you looking forward to?
I'm playing a few games at the minute. I think I'm on my 8th tune this league in PoE. I think I've finally found something I like playing. What else am I playing? Borderlands 3. That's fun. Playing a little bit of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That's really good. And then a little bit of Battletech. What I'm really looking forward to is, the obvious ones, like Path of Exile 2 whenever that gets released. Diablo 4, but,
Not Blizzard soon.
2026, whenever that comes out. Pretty much that's it. I'm looking forward to buying and playing Last Epoch when that comes out. I really want to try that because you're always raving about it, so I figured I might as well give it a shot.
I love the game. I love it.
Yeah.
Voldy?
This season I've been playing quite a bit of my Holy Flame Totems dude on Path of Exile. I do enjoy Path of Exile very much. The game I play the most, I'd still say, is Heroes of the Storm, because I like to get drunk and type to 12-year-olds and how horrible they are. But other than that, that game just makes me hate myself, really.
It makes me hate it too.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it makes us all hate him. I play occasionally with Voldy, and it's about as fun as
I can't play with him anymore.
Shoving a pencil in your eye.
He keeps yelling at me about this imaginary mini map. I don't know what he's talking about.
Look at your map. My game did not come with a map. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think if I played a game it out with Voldy, I'd end up sticking 2 pencils up my nose and slamming my face down the tail.
Good on the objective. Dude, I played this game like very little. I don't even know where the objective is.
I know. Again, that looks like it just moves too slow for me. I think I could like it, but, I've watched people play it, and Your character
It's
seems to
tactical.
like just
Really?
go
The
like that.
characters in this? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way, Draves. It feels like movement is really slow in the game to me.
I think
Like,
MOBAs in general, the
yeah,
movement's kind of slow.
I
because
basically
they're-
only play the game when I want to see Voldy just explode.
When you want to make Voldy hate you.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to, bro?
I am looking forward to Ashes of Creation. Number one thing that I'm looking forward to. I think it's one of the best looking MMOs that might come out someday.
Well,
It's
I think they've already started early beta phase.
yeah, they're supposed to be working on like progressing, and the little bit that I've looked at and seen, the concept is amazing because it's an ever changing type of world, and no two servers are going to end up being the same, but depending on how people develop the world, because the whole node feature, I just love it. If you're into MMOs and you're into like some neat takes on certain systems, I definitely look into Ashes of Creation. I never tried there. They made a Fortnite type game from their game to get people to support early on, even though they made like millions from their Kickstarter to begin with. But it's only like been, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, and it takes a while for MMOs to get made. I mean,
Yeah,
this is
definitely.
This is a huge game, but it looks like they're plugging along. It looks really good. Other than Ashes of Creation, I can't think of anything offhand. I'm waiting for the next Hero and Heroes of the Storm, if they ever release such a thing, or if it is. I don't think it's a totally dead game yet, but it's probably close. I mean, we only got, I think, 2 heroes this year, 2 new heroes. Anyway, that's about it. I was thinking about maybe getting the first DLC for Minecraft Dungeons, maybe. But, because I did like that game, although it's a very simple ARPG.
Yeah, definitely.
It is a very simple ARPG.
What do you guys think of that Amazon MMO, New World? Have you seen anything on that?
I saw a couple streamers looking it over, and I think it needs a bit more polish and work from certain takes, other people's takes on it that I've seen. I think it's still a little ways off from being anything new and inventive.
I'll have to wait and see. I've seen a little bit on the game, not enough to pique my interest so far. Like Boldy said, I pretty much have to wait and see what type of innovations they make, how they change the genre. That's my big thing with games, is I don't want carbon copies of WoW when it comes to MMOs. I don't want Diablo 4 to carbon copy either Diablo 2 or Diablo 3. I don't want it to carbon copy Path of Exile, same as I don't want PoE 2 to carbon copy anything. I want games to stand on their own and innovate, and that's what changes games in general and pushes their respective genres forward and allows for more, more stuff to do and more fun things to happen within a game. I'd like to see some further progress with the game before I make any judgment on it. I think it could be good. It's got the backing of Amazon, but I'd have to wait and see. As far as me, I'm currently playing Path of Exile. As of late, I've played most of this league for Heist. Heist has been one of my favorite leagues. I've been able to turn Kinetic Bolt into a 6.2 million DPS build. I've also been able to turn my Blazing Salvo Totems into somewhat of a boss killer, and both have been very fun to play, very different play styles, and I've been able to craft insane pieces of gear. I've been able to farm enough to afford my headhunter, and it's been a really strong season for me. I probably should have been streaming it, and hopefully streaming will start to happen more often. I'm still trying to nail down a schedule. It's all dependent on when my kids go to bed, and hopefully things are starting to turn the corner with that. I've been able to record this tonight, and it seems to have worked out pretty well. But that's pretty much all I've been playing as of late is Path of Exile. I am looking forward to the next season in Diablo 3. I'm looking forward to our Level with a Cause charity event during opening weekend. That's going to be a fun time. I'd say in the future, I'm definitely looking for Diablo 4, and I'm definitely looking for Last Epoch. So, a game that I think could be something. I don't want it to be a Diablo killer. It never could. You know, I don't look at games thinking which game they can crush. I want 2 or 3 games that I can play at the same time. I want Last Epoch to succeed. I want Path of Exile 2 to succeed. And I want Diablo 4 to succeed because I personally really love this genre. I love first-person shooters and stuff like that as well, but action role-playing games are pretty much where I live for the most part. If I'm going to play a different genre, it's usually for a little bit of a break or escape from the passion that I have for action role-playing games. So hopefully all 3 of those pan out in the future, and that would be pretty awesome to have 3 games that I can rotate back and forth from, because I currently enjoy Path of Exile and I currently enjoy Diablo 3. This past season in Diablo 3, I didn't really play much, but I had a problem with the season as a whole. But that's on the season, not the game itself. But I think that about wraps it up, ladies and gentlemen. Does anybody have anything they want to add before we cut this show?
I'm dead inside.
It's always raining in my mind. All right. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you so very much for tuning in. If you made it to this point in the video, I'm not entirely sure what's wrong with you, but thank you so very much. And be sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more content coming into the channel. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this commentary about gaming, about microtransactions, about early access and season pass type of stuff. And thank you all very much, and you all have a fantastic day. Peace.
Ciao.